this game and I lost. I was window shopping on Marketplace, and I guess it's not really window shopping anymore to buy something, but I came across this trailer. I had actually never heard of this brand. I didn't even know these existed, and it was like finding my long lost soulmate trailer edition. Jokes aside, for me and what I need, the end all be all open trailer. I was looking specifically just to see if I could find an equipment trailer that would have the weight capacity to handle my Bobcat, but also still be okay for loading cars. That way I could use it for both, have one trailer to do both things. I just wanted to see, window shopping, what was out there, what was available, what the cost was, and then I came across this thing as a good deal, and couldn't pass it up. All right, guys, well, before we get too deep into today's video, I wanted to talk to you about today's video sponsor, Carli. Now, this one is really neat for me because the cars, technology, modules, you know, something a lot of us, probably most of us, gripe about, right? Newer cars, they got so many modules, but it is kind of the price you got to pay, right? You want the technology, got to deal with the modules. It's a tough trade-off, you know? However, if you were to happen to have access to those modules and be able to get into those modules and not only see what's going on, but change things, really changes the dynamic. That is literally exactly what Carli does. For example, reading codes. My car has no check engine light. However, there's 48 faults, 48. But one of the things is I've had this theory for a long time. When I built the car, I did a bunch of little tinkering to get traction control working, got it all working, but it's useless because if you go into a turn, especially a tight turn, it just gets crazy and starts slamming on the brakes and doing all sorts of weird stuff. So my theory was that it was because of the angle kit and the wheel speed difference and blah, blah, blah. But I didn't know. I'm like, I don't know if the computer's smart enough. But it was. I went in that module, read every single code relating to that, and it all added up and confirmed my theory. So now I know. But not only that, you can go in there and code the car, you know, if the car is compatible, and change things. Like one of the things that's always annoyed me is that if I'm doing the one-touch window up and then I open the door, it stops going up and I gotta sit there and like hold the thing. It's silly, it's a small thing, but it'd be nice if it just kept going up. Went in there, changed it. Now it just goes up, whether the door's open or not. And from that to personalization, there's just so many things you can do with the coding. And anyway, I could jibber jabber on and on, but I think if you have a modern car or you're looking at buying one, because again, no codes, 48 codes, you know, this is invaluable in our modern world. You want the modern features, you gotta deal with the modern technology. Best way to deal with the modern technology is to combat it with modern technology. So huge shout out to Carli for sponsoring today's video. Let's get back to it. I've had this trailer for like 7 years now. It's the second trailer I've ever owned, and it has been great to me. This thing's never left me stranded, never given me problems. It's been all over the place. It's hauled every type of thing you can imagine, from cars to trucks to 6,000 pounds in car lifts, you know, literally everything. But every so often I would get the itch to toy around with the idea of selling this trailer in favor of getting a trailer that doesn't need ramps. Just the idea, since I have the enclosed for going to events, you know, when you got to bring a lot of stuff, you want a place to go, whatever, that's when you take the enclosed, and then you want quick and easy, simple, you'd take the open. And if you had a open with no ramps, you just drop trailer down, car on, strap it, go. That's the dream, right? Tow rig setup for ease of use. However, there's a problem. Tilt trailer seems like it would fit that bill. But the tilt trailers, even the lighter duty car specific ones where the deck's a lot lower, still to get that deck to go all the way down and touch the ground, the angle gets pretty dang extreme, to the point where even a lot of stock ride height sports cars are gonna have a hard time getting up it without smashing their front end into the trailer. So what people end up doing is they take the Extendo Mod race ramps and then tilt the trailer onto those, so it lessens the angle overall. But my thing is, at that point, I'm back to using ramps. Kind of defeats the whole purpose. So that was just a cycle I went in, and I looked at and considered the drop trailers. It's still kind of a tilt trailer because the back tilts doesn't drop straight down, but a couple brands who make them, they're sick because they solve all those problems. They drop down, really nice approach angle, easy to get a low car on, no problem, simple, quick, but expensive. I mean, they're like, either one is over 20 grand new, and trailers, for whatever reason, car trailers, equipment trailers, race car trailers, they all hold their value really surprisingly well in the used market. So I'd look every so often, and it was pretty hard to find anything decent under 15 grand. So for me, it just wasn't really worth it. So flash forward to now, have the other use case that kind of balances the scales on it making sense to get a tilt trailer, equipment trailer, having the capacity, blah, blah, blah. that's what I was gonna do. But then I found this thing and we don't have to make that sacrifice. So this is a no ramp trailer. That's literally the brand name, pretty funny. But a no ramp trailer U19. So it's like a 17.5-foot deck, 3-foot dove. So it's 21.5 feet overall. It is a 14,000 pound capacity trailer. So it's got two 8-lug, 7,000 pound torsion axles. By contrast, my other trailer is a 7,000 pound trailer. So two 3,500 pound axles. And you've got to subtract the trailer weight out of that, which that trailer weighs about 2,500 pounds. So you're left with 4,500 pounds of capacity. And I had to put the 3-car stacker all crated up on it, and it's definitely about 6,000 or so, and you could tell it struggled. We didn't have far to go, but I've run into more and more scenarios where I need more capacity than that trailer has. Obviously, that's not a problem with this. 14,000 pounds is a lot. It can hold Bobcat, can hold cars, whatever. You can see how heavy duty built it is. I mean, this thing is a tank. But that's not why I bought it. There's a lot of trailers that fit that bill, 14,000 pound trailers, whether ramp style, tilt style, flip down ramps, there's a million options. But for one that will do cars too, I don't think it gets any better than this. So let me show you. It's the coolest thing. I've always wanted one of these. You can probably see where this is headed, so we've got this. So if our system fails, still holds the trailer up, and then we go in here to this really nice heavy duty tongue box. Check that out, dude. That is about as low car friendly as it could possibly get. Oh, I can't wait to load something on it. But the whole trailer, suspension drops down. The suspension's on hydraulics, and so the axles and everything twist up. And one of the things that I really liked about this trailer when I started looking into them is how heavy duty they built the frame and designed that tilt system. Because some of the drop trailers that are more car-centric are really light duty, which is obviously fine for cars. But even for cars, I'd be a little bit worried about how light duty they are. This is not that. This is one of the coolest things, how the fenders flip up. But yeah, so you can see just how light of an incline that is. I mean, don't get me wrong, your super slam car is still gonna maybe scrape the bumper a little bit, but that's about as good as it gets. Let's see under here, all the framework. This thing is heavy duty. Now, obviously, nothing's perfect. We all have our flaws. It is heavy. It's a heavy trailer, which, from what I've seen, all the steel deck drops or even tilts, they're heavy. Again, my other trailer is about 2,500 pounds. This trailer is like 3,600 to 4,000. I haven't found an accurate number, but it is a 3-foot longer trailer, and it's a lot heavier duty than my current open trailer. And again, it can do it all. I also like how they have, all these little pockets that you can hook into for a strap, but then also the stake pockets all the way around. So like that's how this spare tire is mounted in a stake pocket, so you can take that off if you needed to. You can put an enclosure if you wanted to be able to, if we were doing tree work, want to put trees on it, more of the little pockets up here. So, I mean, this is heavy duty for a car. It's obviously overboard for a car, if that's all you were doing. But for me, it's nice to be able to do both. And not to mention, even with the Bobcat out of the equation, again, there's been several times, all of this equipment I had to pick up with my old trailer. And, the two of these, it was overloaded. That one, it was overloaded. Things like R2 over here, when I bought this, we spent like an hour or two trying to get this thing to go on the trailer because ramps, and we had wood, and it was a nightmare. Oddball stuff, definitely nice to have effectively a full width ramp. And a toolbox, there's so many things. So I'm pretty excited about this thing. Always wanted a tilt or a drop trailer. Again, my problem with the tilts is always the fact that it seemed like you'd still have to use a ramp anyway. This is technically considered a tilt. And as with the other drop trailers, I think technically to be a drop trailer, it has to drop straight down, which I've seen some of those, like JLG makes one with 14 foot, where the deck literally just drop straight down with hydraulics. The sacrifice there is you sacrifice width. Trailers can only be made so wide, right, to be legal. So the more stuff you got going on the inside of the tires, the less room you got. This one's already like on the lower end at 80 inches. Like it's gonna be a touch tight for like loading the vet. The vet's just ultra wide. It barely fits between any trailer's fenders, but it's just at 80 and a half inches. So yeah, anyway, that's this thing. I have some mods I want to do to it, some upgrades, but buying this means I now have 2 open trailers, and that's a problem because I don't have enough space for 3 trailers and a bus. So we got to get rid of my old one, which is going to be a sad, it's going to be tough for me. I've had this trailer a long time. Again, it's my second trailer. I bought my first one for $850. Cheapest trailer I could find back when I was in that mentality. It ended up costing me more than that, which one of those lessons learned. $850, didn't have ramps, bought ramps for it, welded on plates to keep the ramps from popping up, welded on housings for lights and rewired it and added brakes and all this stuff. And I was looking for a trailer for my buddy Showman, and I came across this thing. And originally, when it was listed for sale, it had only been listed for a couple hours, but it was completely covered in surface rust, like just oddly an even layer of surface rust across the whole thing. And I think that scared a lot of people away. And I know one of his concerns was the weight. He thought it was going to be super heavy, and he was against buying it. And I was like, well, if you're not going to buy it, I'm going to go buy it and I'll just sell my trailer. So he ended up wanting to buy my trailer. I bought this thing for $1,500 and sold him my trailer for what I had in it, which was like $1,450. So for $50, basically upgraded to this trailer. I repainted it, cleaned it up. I modified where the ramps go in to fit the 7-foot ramps I'd bought for the other trailer. And man, this thing has seen a ton of use, and it's a good trailer. Like a lot of these open trailers, the fenders are super floppy. On this one, they're stout, they don't flex. It's got a nice C-channel all the way around. It's pretty heavy duty built for this size class open trailer. So good trailer. I mean, that trailer have a lot of history. It's part of the reason I never committed on getting a tilter or anything like that. The other reason, because, oops, sorry, bumped your head. I just like that trailer, it's been good to me. So that said, we have our new trailer, so that means we gotta sell that one. It is what it is. Oh, you're already overheating from being out there for 2 seconds. Me too. So sell it. I want to clean it up. The brakes haven't worked in a while. Something with the wiring on the trailer, which hasn't been a problem for me with the dually. But if I sell it to someone who's got a little 1500 or something, they're gonna need brakes, you know. So I want to get that working. I've got some things that I need to take care of on it before we sell it and get them knocked out so we can sell that thing ASAP. So I guess let me get this thing out of the way. And another cool thing about this trailer is that it gets so rigid, it's literally parked on the ground. And so we can load and unload out the truck and stuff, which is really nice at events when you need to leave for the night. Crazy how high this thing goes. Looking at it at full height again, you wouldn't even think it could ever go that low. Obviously, we gotta try to put a car on it real quick. You know. good comparison of the angles, and this is with super long 7-foot ramps. The angle is pretty similar, if not the same. The problem with loading up here with any trailer is my driveway slopes down, so then you're effectively kind of coming at it at a downward angle, especially a trailer like this. It helps with this trailer, for example, because then the back is closer to the ground, so there's less angle. But with this dropping down, it'd be better on the street or on flat. But it went on, it's just, I mean, if you look, the hitch of this thing is on the floor. Barely fit my boot under it. Yeah, no, this is a good little trailer. You know what, actually, I'm gonna keep these straps. Actually, I forgot what all I had in here. I don't use this trailer super often anymore. Got everything out of the box. I gotta clean this thing up. I need to address the wiring. It's been a while. Gotta add a new breakaway battery. Oh no, I did put one in there. Forgot about that. I gotta address some things before I sell it, but I ordered a new pair of ramps. One of mine got all torn up, so I scrapped it and I only have one left. Should have the ramps here in a few days. Another neat feature too with this is if we were to blow a tire, right, and we need to change the tire, put blocks under the back, and the hydraulic cylinders are dual acting, so it's not just letting gravity down, it's power down. So it'll power the axles up and we'll be able to change the tire without ever taking, jacking the thing up. So anyway, let's run this thing up there because I gotta move it anyway. Real quick, scientific test. Yeah, 10 inches, 11. 1 inch more rise. And it could drop down more by going down in the front, but I mean, pretty solid. We could potentially, if we really needed to, I don't think we will, basically extend this out a little bit. Bit tight on there. But it fits. It ships. I feel like the battery could definitely use a charge, but let's just see. Oh yeah. It's got that. Push this back enough to still squeeze the Bobcat in here. I haven't moved things around enough yet to put it out back. Oh, but yeah, our ramps are here, so we can actually start on this thing. Get this dang thing sold ASAP. This long West trailer I gotta store. Oh man. Get on out of there. I don't think they're gonna fit. No, dude, those are way thicker. Son of a... Let's try. I hate returning things. Oh, it's so close. This is the other problem with nice. I mean, the front's jacked up pretty far, but you gotta support the back, because otherwise, what'll happen is you're going to load the car, right? The front goes on nice, the knife foot's nice and even. Then the back of the trailer dips down, so the knife foot comes off. And when your back tire hits it, it pops the ramp off. And then if you don't have a really good parking brake or chocks, it pushes the trailer forward. All right, let me see. It's probably worth grinding this opening. I think I already did at some point. Close. It's really close. It's just when I modified these, let me show you under there. When I modified these originally was my early fabrication days. I was still learning. I think I had a welder for not that long. But anyway, this is meant for different ramps, and this is why I went a foot shorter with these replacements. I cut this rail, bent it up, and welded it. But with how thick these are, they're now hitting this support here above the ramp. So what I need to do is just chop the end off. They don't need to go up as high because they're not going to end up over top of the axle like the other ramps did. Because we've only got, 8 inches left to squeak in there. But yeah, I don't know. I've considered for years cutting these off and cutting a slot in instead. I mean, they clear pretty good now, so I don't know. See how I'm feeling at the end of this. But yeah, gotta pull it out. Yeah, gotta do some on our back cutting. I hate cutting with a grinder. Hate it. When I worked my construction job doing commercial shade structures, like everything cut with a grinder. I had to do all the precision cutting and cutting, 12-foot long pieces of soffit intricately to go around light boxes and stuff with a grinder. It's like when you eat the same thing a bunch of times and you never want to eat it again, that's where I'm at with a grinder. I just hate it. Dust, the sparks, the smell, the mess, but sometimes it's the only choice. Oh, no, I can Sawzall this. Just kidding. Yeah, let's Sawzall it. All right, let's get back to it. Well, it didn't come easy, but it goes in now. Okay, pull it over that way. It's so much lighter than the old ones, which, you know, has an upside. Yeah, it was going nice. The nice thing too, since they're wider, the old ones are an inch narrower. Oh gosh, I'm falling. But they were a little too narrow for this opening. Fall off the angle and then bind up, you know. So a little easier. Sweet. All right, just gotta do the same thing over here, and then I need to go get some new. Want that ramp for the other trailer, and then we still got a lot to do, but at least we got it fitting. I was definitely considering just, you know, being like, oh, the ramps, yeah, put them in your truck, but they got the pockets. I'd already spent a bunch of time on them to get the old ramps in. Couldn't give up that easy. So anyway, let's knock this side out, get both these wrapped up, done and dusted, and we can tackle the wiring. I can't remember. I know I messed with it at some point. I want to say I just looked and 2 wires are crimped to 1. I don't know. We'll figure it out. One thing at a time, though. Let's get this Johnny in. This is a funny project for me because when I modified these ramp pockets initially, it was in the driveway at my Orlando house, which if you've been watching for a long time, hanging out, yeah, that was a long time ago. And, you know, just baking in the sun and doing that project compared to now being in an air-conditioned shop, having a moving blanket to lay on. Boy, talk about luxury. It's definitely a reminder. So, yeah, like I said, I considered just taking the easy way out on this, but it's such a nice trailer, and it'll make someone such a good trailer. I couldn't bring myself to, you know, diminish it. If I was keeping it, I would definitely be putting in the effort. So if I'm selling it, I should be putting in the same effort. You know? One of those things. So it's a little bit of massaging, even grinding the bottom of the bar a little more flat to try to just make it as easy as possible to go in. I know anytime someone helps me with these ramps, they always struggle. So I'm hoping the next person, you know, make it as easy as possible since they're not going to be as familiar with the combo move as I am. I've got a good hand for getting these ramps in and out after all this time. All right, now to tackle our trailer brake problem. All right, let's get down here. All right, I'm gonna make an honest admission here. I have no idea. Oh, maybe that's what's going on. That still doesn't make sense. Yeah, no, it doesn't make sense. I don't get it. I don't understand what I was doing here. For some reason, I still don't get it. I don't know, maybe I didn't do this. I mean, I gotta take the blame. It's my trailer. Okay, well. One of the things with working on a bunch of different projects, especially one like this that has been such a long one in so many different phases and batches of upgrades and changes and repairs and mods and all this stuff, it's hard to remember exactly what happened when. You know, I know that when I got the green truck, I had to put a trailer brake controller in it, and there was something weird there with the adapter harness deal, but I'm pretty sure they worked before that. They worked during the green truck. I know at some point I started getting an error on one of the trucks at one of the times that on the trailer brakes for this, and again, it wasn't really a concern because Dooley didn't really need them, but whenever I did the last refurb of this trailer, you know, a year or 2 years ago, something like that, I do remember trying to diagnose it and determine why they weren't working and get them working. I just don't remember exactly what all came of it, but regardless, one way or another, they're wired wrong, or they were, so that's honestly good news for us because that means that wiring them right, like we're doing now, may just fix them, which is much preferred to doing hard parts, you know? Alright, well, we got this side done. I'm still confused, man. I don't know why it was the way it was. Where basically 2 wires on this side were going to ground on this drum, and the 2 wires on the other side going to power. But it's, you need one of each. So anyway, what I did here is I've got the ground wire coming in. It goes to these brakes, or this, this brake. Power and ground, boom, doesn't matter which order. It's just activation. It gets power and ground, it does its thing. And then they come over here and go into these wires, which cut across. And then we'll basically, on that side, we'll just have to hook these 2 up. So we don't have to do another ground stud. In theory, as long as we don't have any other problems upstream, that should work. So let's give it a shot. Yeah, let's give it a shot. It's really the main thing. Oh, I want to get the rear center brake light working too, maybe. We'll get there one thing at a time. Let me squeeze under here for this other side, get this done. And we'll try it out. Brakes aren't erroring out finally, but the white ones, they're definitely not working, so I gotta check that. Or it would just say that the trailer disconnected or something like that. Yeah, nice. All right, well, that's a start. For some reason, I thought this didn't work the whole time. Oh yeah, hazards work, side clearance lights work. I did those myself. I liked them. Honestly, I might do them to the new trailer. It just looks cool. Okay. This thing's next, man. Got a bunch of upgrades for it. Last bit came in. Figure out what's going on. You're gonna have to be my eyes and ears on this one. I just need you to let me know if you see 12 volts come up on here. It should alternate to 12. Oh, it seems like it maybe did something. I gotta be fast. Alright, well, the lie detector tests determined they work. I don't know if maybe they just were a little stuck at first. I've noticed sometimes when you try to lock the trailer brakes with the brake controller, it takes kind of a second for them to really like grab, if that makes sense. But yeah, I didn't change anything. I've just been diagging. Oh man, this thing looks a lot better all cleaned up. It was absolutely filthy, especially that side. It was just caked in stuff from the woods, but she's dialed now. We got all the lights working, brakes finally working again for the first time in years. Everything's working, new ramps are in. I got my locks, so I just need to drill the holes, pop those in. When I did these ramps initially, years and years ago, I wanted to come up with something other than just locks. So that way, if you didn't need to lock them, if you weren't worried about that, you could do that. But honestly, that's just more of a nuisance than just having one option. And obviously, if you wanted these ramps real bad, you could easily get past these locks. They're a mild deterrent, if anything, but they also hold the ramps in place. 2-for-1 deal, you know? All right, well, with that, the open trailer is done. Get some better weather. I don't know, I'll see how I'm feeling. Maybe I'll take some pics of it now. Anyway, let's put this stuff up. We got another project to tackle so we can work on the other trailer. So I got this 3-ball hitch here. So we got 2 5/16, which is what both trailers are. Got 2-inch for the boat / that trailer. Got a nice receiver tube. We're gonna basically weld this to a plate, weld the receiver to that, bolt it on, and we should have all 3 hitches plus a hook. Go cut some plate. See if we got something kind of scrap related that we can get by with for now. That way, I want to use a nice big piece of 1/4 inch on this. See if I have something, an end piece or something. For some reason, it always just feels even that much more satisfying when you can get by with some scrap material that you weren't using for anything for a project instead of cutting a fresh piece. Not to mention, you know, I don't know how well this is going to work. We need to change the design. I don't know if the 2 bolts are going to work. There's some unknowns. So I'd rather not waste a nice piece. Hopefully it works though, and then we don't have to change it, you know? After trying to drill this the hard way, I realized that this mag drill that I got for really a completely different purpose is kind of a setup, tear down drill press deal that doesn't take up a lot of space. It's actually perfect. This is what it's designed for. You magnet base it to a big piece of steel and then drill through it. However, this thing was not enjoying this process very much. I mean, I'm using the wrong bits. You usually use a short bit with these, and the problem is then it doesn't go up enough, and it was still a hassle. Drilling through 1-inch plus thick plate is never the most fun thing, but I will say definitely a little bit less of a hassle with this. At least I had to break out my short bits. I try to save those. Those are my like untampered bits, but you know, eventually you got to use them in situations where you know they might get torn up. But we got it bolted on. That's the part I was dreading the most. I'd much rather weld, cut, grind, anything than drill. Drill's my least favorite. So we got the drilling done. We got to do the welding. All right. Well, this we're gonna have to weld hot. I'm not huge on MIG welding stuff. Generally, I would TIG, but I do enjoy MIG welding stuff. When it's some thick stuff, you get to weld hot. I got my settings close. I think so. Yeah, those tacks are pretty nice. About the right shape and size. Oh yeah. Oh, God. Dang. Remember, the coatings on this hitch is gross. Sweet. Oh. Not terrible for a half-bit TIG welder. All right, we'll let that cool down, and then moment of truth, try to bolt it on, and then if that works, try to move some trailers with it. Do a quick coat of paint on it, because I knew if I didn't do it now, I probably wouldn't get around to it. I need to get another pen. It came with a locking pen, which I don't want to deal with worth having to have a key for this. But are you gonna say it or am I? That ain't going nowhere. Oh, all right, we need to try it out. Try on our jack foot. One of the biggest downsides to an enclosed cab skid steer, especially when the door opens out, is that you can't get out if the arms are up. So I wanted to try out this jack foot I'd made for the other trailer and see if it fits in this trailer, because the one I bought for this trailer it didn't fit, but I couldn't get out with it up. So scratch that for now. We'll have to do it with the truck, but in the meantime I want to get the new trailer back in, see if we can start on some mods. But I gotta say, this thing's pretty nifty for moving trailers around. Definitely one of the many uses I thought of when wanting to get one of these things. Like, that's really not a bad approach angle at all. So the idea would be something like here. You've got the tires, granted imagine that cut, so it'd be, and then that flush. You got the tires popped up there. By the time you get up here, you're chilling. On how I want to do this, if I want to do this, it's hard to get a visual without cutting the ramps. The problem is we have the knife foot on one side. Because I could get a pair of cheap ramps, cheap short ones, and then I basically just need to cut the other end off for this side. Well, I don't know. In the meantime, I tried this out. Dude, I don't know what's up with the trailer jack on the trailer. It's just really thick material. This doesn't quite fit, so I'm gonna try. Basically, I need to add a notch in the back side, and then there's this part of the seam to keep it square. I'm gonna try to grind this in a little more, and then see if we can just get it to fit. This will be a game changer for us. I've been trying to figure out an extended jack foot for my enclosed trailer for so long, because while it has the electric jack, which means low effort, right? You're just pressing the button. It is kind of time consuming to sit there and watch it, slowly wind down a foot and a half before it even touches the ground and starts lifting. It's a wasted battery, but the off the shelf ones, bought one of them, tried to mod it. It wasn't gonna work. This one I had made for the open trailer. The one I bought worked for the open trailer, so I'm like, cool, maybe this one, it's a little bit smaller. I made it out of much heavier duty material than the ones you buy. Maybe it'll fit, and still doesn't fit. So I'm not giving up though. Last ditch effort. I think if we can't make this one fit, this is gonna be hard to find anything that will. So I'm gonna do what I can, do what I gotta do, make this thing fit, make our lives easier when using the enclosed. Fit this time, right? Right? We talked about this. Beautiful. Which pin do we want to use? Butter. Now we don't have to crank this thing up as far. And it's got a wider foot, which is nice too. We could drill a hole a little further out, but I just kept it to where there's still a good amount of meat in there. Sweet. Alright, well, obviously I gotta throw some paint on that, but let it rust up, add some thickness. I'm just kidding. Yeah, sweet. Alright, that's done. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this little foot. I'll save it. Well, I think I've decided on this. Instead of cutting this ramp up, I could buy a cheap pair of ramp, flip it, do pins, then have like 2 or 3 different pin spots to where we could also pop them on this rail here. And like I said, load the golf cart or something up front. So, I don't know, I think that's the plan. Let me know if you have any input, any other ideas. Point is, I think I'm gonna get the 5 foots, do that. While we do that, stain the wood and paint this white so it matches the truck. I think it'll look pretty baller painted white. And it could use a paint job anyway. It's not bad, but it's definitely not amazing. Oh, another thing I didn't mention about this trailer, it's got the receiver hitch deal here. So we could do a pop-in winch and then hook it up to the battery system that's in here, which would be pretty neat. So it's a neat trailer, man. I'm really happy about this thing. Gotta say, look how low it gets. It's wild, especially with those massive tires. Like we could go down a size in tire, drop the whole frame down some more if we wanted to. See how I'm feeling, but I'm pretty happy with it. Just gotta get that trailer sold, get it out of my way. Oh, shoot. I got tons of things I need to sell, so I'm gonna get on that. But anyway, I'm get jibber jabber on. Let me know what you guys think of the new trailer. Any improvement, suggestions, questions, comments, concerns, ideas that you have. And yeah, man, whew, get that trailer sold and then on to the next thing and next thing. I want to try and clear stuff out so we can get more stuff, do more things. So and build more space. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Wait, no, I'm gonna move this trailer. So, well, I'll end it and then we'll move the trailer. Nice little ease our way on out, fade out. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I'll see you guys next time. I gotta slap it, but you're gonna, we're gonna do the thing after this. This is awkward.